How to stop scrolling. One of the main problems I used to have was every time I was supposed to be working, so I told myself these are the hours I'm going to work from this hour to this hour. When I would be in that time when I was supposed to be working, I would be, I would see my phone, then I would start scrolling, and you get into that feedback loop of, oh, 30 minutes went by. Oh, was I supposed to be working? Right, yeah. My phone hours were crazy, something like 6 to 7 hours a day. And there was one day where I just said, I have had it. I'm going to do something. I'm going to fix this somehow. And so if you're at that point, you're in the exact right place. What I did, I turned off all my notifications and I put my phone in a completely separate room. So now what I've done is I've increased the cost associated with using my phone, right? Because it's not like I'm working right here and the phone's just on my desk. It's I'm working and now I'd have to get up, walk to the other room, grab my phone. So now the cost associated to get the reward of using my phone is higher, where normally it's cheap dopamine and you could just, get the reward instantly. So this worked for a little while. I was able to fight the impulse and stay seated. And then what happens is once you fight that impulse, that little split-second decision, you say, no, I'm not doing that. You stop thinking about it and then you just go back into the workflow. It's a really interesting thing. But yes, there were some times that I failed and I was like, oh shit. And you ended up getting up, going to get the phone. And then you're using it. So you're like, I did all this to increase the cost and now it's even worse. Like I'm still using the phone. But you can't think like that. It's progress. Like you're getting better. So then the next thing I did was, okay, if I'm still feeling that, I need to increase the cost associated with it even more. The next step is I wrote down my 10 goals that I wanted to achieve in the next 6 to 12 months. And before I made a promise to myself that before I will use my phone, I have to read those 10 goals. And trust me, like when you get 20 days into this, you really don't want to read them. You're just dreading reading them. And it really helps because if you put something you dread in front of the reward, in front of the phone, in front of the bad habit you don't want to do, you find that you're just like, I'm not going to do it. It's you're trying to make it in your brain that it's not worth it for me to pick up my phone. You already know logically in your head that it's not worth it. But the problem is in these split-second decisions when you're working and your phone's on your desk and the notifications are dinging, what those notifications are doing to you is they're creating emotions in your head. And so now those emotions cause you to stop thinking logically. And you're just acting off emotions. You're swaying with the wind. And so what we're trying to do is get you out of that emotion into a state where you're thinking logically. So if your phone's in another room and you'd have to read your 10 goals before you could read the phone, now you can kind of get out of that emotion. Now you can think logically, like, okay, one, it's not even worth it. Now I have to do that. And now if you get thinking about it, then you won't do it and you'll just stay seated and you'll keep working because the cost associated with that reward is so much less. That's why we do things. That's what discipline is. Discipline is just making it easy on yourself. And so you're going to have setbacks. You're going to falter back, but you have to understand that similar to a chart, right? If you think about any stock, it doesn't just go straight up. It's not just a green dildo. It's up, setback, up, setback. What you need to do is just create higher lows along the way. So track your progress, track your results, think, okay, I use my phone. Honestly, the best way you could do it is just look at your phone hours every day. Unless you use it for work, just look at the hours that are unproductive hours. So look at your social media hours and stuff like that. And look at apps you want to slowly decrease the time off. Because your goal isn't to just delete the app and never use it. Your goal is to make it not rewarding in your head so that, you can see it. Your goal is to not want to use it anymore because you've developed a feedback loop in your brain that it's like, it is what it is. But now I understand the systems and processes of discipline and consistency, and now I can use them to my advantage to where if I wanted to stop scrolling for a prolonged period of time, if I felt like it was getting in the way of something I needed to achieve or something I wanted to do, I could turn it off like that because I know exactly what I would do. I would put my phone in a different room. I'd write my 10 goals out and say, no, if you want to look at your phone, you have to read these goals. And maybe day one you read them and then you go scroll a little bit, but I guarantee you day 15, you're gonna be like, dude, I do not want to read those goals right now. And so you won't end up scrolling. And this kind of method of influencing the discipline equation can be used for any habit you want to get rid of. You just make it harder for yourself to do it and make the other thing easier for yourself to do it, and then replace it. And over time, it becomes a new habit. And that creates new neural pathways in your brain, and you don't even have to think about it anymore. That just becomes who you are. So take all this, go and do something about it, go use it. Hope it helped. Talk soon.